We have breaking news. We have breaking news. The bottle has been found.
Just kidding. But we'll get to that later.
So the bottle's been found. So yesterday we talked about the water bottle gate. There's always a gate. Is this called water bottle gate or is this called...
It's a mouthful, but yeah.
And we talked about it. Hannah Hampton had an interview where she talked about chucking Cata Coll'S water bottle into the stands that had the cheat codes on. So Cata Coll'S could not reference that during the PK shootout at the Euros. And, divided opinion. Some thought, oh my God, great gameplay. Some people thought not sportsmanlike, but not illegal. And our comment section was kind of mixed. But there was a tweet this morning that we got as a notification on our phone, and it was very interesting. And the person who so the mystery might have been solved, but the person who found the bottle put it on Twitter. I don't think the account that we found it from was the original account. It was like on Instagram. It was on Snapchat or something. But the person who found the bottle tweeted out a picture, and that was the evidence. They said, "Hey, Hannah did," because that was the controversy. Did Hannah do it? Did she not? And I'll put the picture on the screen.
Sarah, be for real. This is a joke.
She woke me up from my slumber, and then we took a minute. Then we realized, okay, something looks a little fishy here. Okay, let's look at it though. So you see the Gatorade bottle, which is the ones that they use. Okay, so we see the Gatorade bottle, and then we see the list of names. I mean, we see them. We see England penalties, and it says Mead, James, Greenwood, Stanway, Kelly, Bronze, Williamson, Tooney, Russo. And it just says, dive left, dive right, dive left. And the corresponding names. The first kind of takeaway from this, and then I thought, okay, well, this is it. They found the bottle, case closed. Hannah threw it out there. There's no video evidence of it quite yet, which seems a little weird considering there's cameras everywhere. The first thing that I thought looked a little strange, though, it said Kelly. The note was, just stand still.
That's wild.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a funny thing to say. Like, just stand still. Okay, that seems a little weird. And then it said, just Williamson dive right. And the names it was only a certain amount of names. It didn't have anyone else. Like, Neve Charles made a PK. I'm trying to think of someone else who wasn't on this list. Okay, the biggest red flag about this list
is that the paper seemed to be in pristine condition. Mm-hmm. Like, fresh from a printer, and... looks like it was taped on a bottle with no protection. With no lamination or anything. But an even bigger red flag, which I think is what you were actually talking about, is it was in English, not Spanish. Yeah, my brain at 7 a.m. did not comprehend any of this.
Yeah, so Sarah saw it first, and she kind of ran to me. She goes, Sarah, because she just barely looked at it. And I looked at it, and I go, this is interesting. I thought it would probably be in Spanish because obviously Cata Coll'S speaks Spanish, but you would think the easiest thing to do is write it in your native language so you could easily just okay, check. But it was in English.
Oh, well, you got to try to throw them off a little bit.
Yeah. So. So that was the biggest red flag, that it was not in Spanish. But I'm not going to say this is 100% disproven, but this tricked us because we actually thought it was the bottle. And we got a good laugh, and I don't think this was the bottle.
This looks like a brand new Gatorade bottle, too.
Yeah. So, did anyone see this? I don't know if this was widely. Not a lot of people were talking about it, and I even told Sarah we're going to talk about it, because I actually thought it was pretty funny. Like, it's a gag, it's a joke. Someone did this as, like, a joke. I love the Chloe Kelly note, just stand there. Because
I would have thought it would said like gallops or does a little hop, skippity doop dop or whatever.
Yeah. So we'll still never know. The more I thought about this, the more I think the ITV or whatever it was, I think they spliced together. I don't actually think Hannah threw the water bottle. I think she was saying, we talked about this yesterday, but the reason why she writes her notes on her arm is because no one. Talk sport. There you go. The reason why she writes her notes on her arm, so no one can do this. The more I think about it, in the fact there's no video evidence, the one weird thing I do think it's weird, Hannah Hampton hasn't come out to clarify this, but she doesn't have to. But I would think she would say, hey, that's not quite what I said. Or maybe the interview is going to be released in long form at some point. I actually don't know. So I did see this.
I bet she's enjoying all this unnecessary drama and all this wild stuff.
Yeah, you think she thinks that she's getting a laugh out of it? Okay, but I saw some comments underneath this post. It says, first it says, why is it in English? That's one of the very first comments. And it says, someone goes, well, make it Spanish to make it believable. But I think that's part of the joke. And then someone said, people missing the joke, read Kelly's instructions. Just stand there. So yeah. I thought that was so funny. And then someone goes, well, she's a multilingual goalkeeper, which is true. However, still you would think you would do it in your native language, because if the other keeper wouldn't be able to see, the other team wouldn't be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? Even though Hannah Hampton speaks fluent Spanish. And, maybe that makes sense. Hannah Hampton, but that wouldn't matter either. And then I'll read this comment. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
My goodness, don't make it so obvious that the fan wrote it so the other one doesn't look bad, because clearly if they include it, it'll be in Spanish, not in English. Come on, keep making a fool of yourself. How strange that it comes up right after Cata denies it, not when the other one said it.
So that person's kind of saying that this isn't believable, this bottle isn't believable, but I think that's the joke. That's why it's so funny, because it's so obviously not the bottle. And I thought we gotta laugh. So whoever did that, we gotta laugh. What can I say? Yeah, but speaking of Spain, that's kind of what this the other part of this video is about, is that officially the head coach of the Spanish team, Montse Tomé, they have parted ways. Spain has parted ways with Montse Tomé. I'll have Sara read this.
Spain part ways with Tomé after England defeat. Spain's women's national team have parted ways with head coach Montse Tomé and named Sonia Bermúdez as her replacement. The Spanish Football Federation said Tomé's contract will not be renewed when it expires on the 31st of August. Tomé, 43, became Spain's first female head coach when she was appointed in September 2023, having acted as Jorge Vilda's assistant until the 44-year-old was sacked amid Luis Rubiales scandal. She led the side to victory in the inaugural Women's Nations League in February 2024, but Spain finished runners-up in the Euros after penalty shootout defeat by England on 27th of July. The Spanish Football Federation thanked Tomé for her work, professionalism, and dedication, but said she will leave her role on August 31st when her deal expires. Bermúdez, who won 9 league titles during a playing career, took her to Rayo Vallecano, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Levante. The 40-year-old played 61 times for Spain and had been head coach of the U23s until her promotion to the senior side.
So that is official. So basically, Montse Tomé's contract expired. They're not going to renew it. And I had heard that even before they lost the Euro final, even before they went to the Euros, I had read, or I don't know if I saw on TikTok, that they actually weren't going to extend Montse Tomé's contract anyway. So the fact that she lost, from what I heard, it didn't matter, because they were still not going to renew her contract. Now, so you remember the video we talked about where was Alexia coaching the coach? Remember that video we talked about? Did Montse really know what she was doing? So you thought anyone's going to be better than Montse. So they have a new coach. They have Sonia Bermúdez as a head coach. You think, oh my gosh, anyone's better than Montse Tomé. Everyone's going to be greater. Apparently, she's probably not much better than Montse Tomé, because 2 reasons. You remember when Montse Tomé was clapping for Luis Rubiales, you're like, oh, great, you've done a great job, I support you. Sonia, I'll put a picture up, was sitting right next to Montse Tomé. So, but Sonia seems to be, they were calling Montse Tomé Jorge Vilda 2.0. They're calling Sonia Jorge Vilda 3.0. So, I don't think this is great news. The good news about it, though, she was I guess, Spain legend. Like I said, it played 61 times for Spain, and she is a great player, great former player, which helps. And also, she has coached the U23s before, so she has a lot of coaching experience. Now, we will read some comments, but it's like, I don't know, I feel bad. The Spanish Federation just seems very toxic, and even though they're not really losing necessarily, it's just, is it like a healthy environment, Yeah, they kind of deserve better. Like someone goes, why didn't you hire an international coach? And people are like, oh, they would never do that because they're too set in their ways of wanting to control the players. I think maybe because I had said on a video, oh, Spain is pretty conservative because XYZ. And part of my reason for saying that, because the Spanish Federation is so strict, I thought, well, they must be a conservative country. And then a couple people responded, no, Spain isn't conservative like that. It's literally the Federation that is so demanding of these players. You know what I mean? So we'll read some comments, but if you're a Spain fan, what do you think about that? Okay, so speaking of Spain, too, we're going to spend a second on this. But remember when we talked about Beth Mead, London City Lionesses wanted Beth Mead. Apparently, London City Lionesses want everyone because Jana Fernández, or Jana Fernández, Jana, I've heard a J, I've heard not a J. Apparently, I don't know if it's pen to paper yet, but 99%, she is going to London City Lionesses. Michelle King is not messing around. With that, though, Barcelona has another player leaving, and they're in kind of turmoil. If you are a Spain fan of the national team and now of Barcelona, since there's so much overlap, your heads must be spinning because what is going on as a country and for Barcelona as a club. I know not every Spain fan is a Barcelona supporter, but a lot of them are. But Jana Fernández is going to London City Lionesses. That's another reason I would think Beth Mead would say, hey, I want to get on this ground level. You know what I mean? But right now, I'll have Sara read this.
Barcelona Femení have only 17 registered players due to financial fair play problems as Jana leaves. Barcelona Femení is grappling with the same crisis as their male counterparts, with only 17 registered players for the 2025 season due to financial fair play restrictions per sources. The departure of star defender Jana Fernández to London City Lionesses, driven by FFP compliance, has significantly weakened the team. The reduced roster raises fears of exhaustion and vulnerability to injuries, potentially impacting their performance in the UEFA Women's Champions League, particularly with reports suggesting that Aitana Bonmati or Alexia Putellas could leave to raise around €2 million.
So the issue is the financial fair play, which FFP in soccer is a set of regulations aimed to promoting financial stability and fair competition among clubs. In the context of the Spanish league, La Liga, FFP rules are enforced to ensure clubs do not spend beyond their means and promote sustainable financial practices. So the biggest problem is, that sounds all great and good and everything, but because the men's team is having such financial hardships right now, it's impacting the women's team because they're intertwined. People are saying that they want the women's team to be a separate entity so they can have, so the men's problems can't interfere with the women's problems. Right. And I think it might be the only league that does this. I'm actually not quite sure, but it's affecting the women's team. So it's kind of a mess. Barcelona is having huge financial problems. And when I say Barcelona, I don't mean women's or men. I mean the whole men's and women's, because it affects both of them. But it just sucks because is this the downfall of the women's team?
Barcelona pushed for FFP rule change with women's team request. Barcelona have asked La Liga, the top division in men's football, to change financial fair play rules with a request surrounding the club's women's team. The Spanish club has battled financial issues over the past 5 years and still holds debt exceeding £1.2 billion. This has caused issues for the men's side, who struggle in their efforts to register 2024 summer signings Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo reported that Barcelona have made a historic demand surrounding the women's team in the latest development to the club's financial saga. Barcelona asked La Liga to discount women's football team budget from FFP. Barcelona have asked La Liga to change FFP rules by separating the budgets from their women's and youth teams from the men's first team. La Liga currently accounts for the budgets of women's and youth teams within financial restrictions alongside its men's side.
This means that any signing the Barcelona women's team makes plays into the budget of the men's side, therefore potentially affecting what signings the women can or cannot make. But there's a lot of problems, and I don't want to see my players go. I don't want Jana Fernández to go. I don't want to say the downfall of Barcelona. Everyone's like saying, oh, Real Madrid now is going to be the big player. So it's very, if I If I was a Barcelona fan, I'd be concerned, but just a lot going on over there. Okay, I'm going to read some comments. I'll start with the comments about the new appointed manager. First thing it says, their replacement is also bad. Get these girls a real coach. And someone goes, okay, this is kind of rude, but kind of funny. Terrible haircut. Can't be trusted.
As a player, she's a legend, one of the highest goal scorers of Barca's history, and she played alongside Alexia, Jenni, Mapi. But I'm afraid she might not be a good option because she has no coaching experience with professional sides. We'll see.
She played with Jenni. Maybe should be like, justice for Jenni. You know what I mean? So she'll want to bring Jenni on or maybe she's one of those like an incel. No, maybe she's kind of like one of those, what is it called? Where you go and undercover and then change the system without anyone knowing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, undercover boss.
Yeah. Then someone says, this is not good. Like Tomé, she was part of the terrorizing coaching staff. Someone goes, are you serious? Just as bad. And then I'll read this. This is a kind of a positive comment.
I don't know where people here in the comments get the idea that she has no experience as a coach. When she was the coach of the U15s, U19s, where they won 2 European championships in a row in 2023 and 2024, and the U23s, she wasn't like Montse. She was a coach while being an assistant coach and without having any experience managing a national team or a team. So inform yourselves well. That's what the internet is for, to inform you and not to say things you don't know.
Yeah, so, that comment sounds pretty legit. So hopefully this person's optimistic and, they have such quality on that team that hopefully it works out. Then I see the comment here that I was talking about. Montse was Vilda 2.0 and then Sonia is Vilda 3.0. That was the comment I was talking about. And then someone goes, thank God you're leaving. Bye, that plane is for you. So people are happy Montse is leaving. Then someone goes, question, do you know that there are more coaches in the world, right? We continue to recycle staff. Haven't you seen that doesn't work? So yeah, it doesn't work to a point. They've been successful, but how much more successful could they be with a really good coach that's not toxic? You know what I mean? So we'll read a couple comments about the Barcelona situation. Someone goes, Barça is soon down to only 18 players in their squad. And then the next person down goes, asterisk, now only 17 players. So a player was lost within that comment.
Oh no.
And then someone goes, what's going on with Barça? And someone goes, the finances are not that positive. This was in response to Jana leaving. Someone goes, no. This can't be happening. All caps.
That was a big fan there.
Yeah. And this is my other favorite comment. So somebody I'm guessing is a Barcelona fan. They go, London City Lionesses. Is that in Canada or where is it?
I like that.
Which would lead me almost to believe they're American because Americans are so bad at geography. I thought it was funny. What does everyone think? We got duped with the fake note, but I thought it was funny.
For like 1 second.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Montse Tomé out, but Sonia in. Is this... Are Spain fans happy, or are they still kind of like, wow, you're just doing the same people over and over and over. Nothing's going to change. Hopefully Jenni gets called. It seems crazy. Also, Barcelona, it seems like it's a financial mess over there. Hopefully they can figure it out. Is this the downfall of Barcelona? Is Real Madrid going to step up and be the new dominant team? That's what people are saying. I don't know. What is the future like? It is kind of crazy. Questions, comments down below. What does everyone think? And yeah, we'll be back soon. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.